back, YouTubers, to another Smackdown review with us. None other than those dynamic dudes on YouTube. It's none other than those British guys, the British Fist.
Catching.
And what a very appropriate name. And also, what a very appropriate name we have here, Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is none other than N to the J to the NJ.
What's up?
Subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts you have on this edition of Smackdown in that comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the box below.
Yes, and I just want to get this off my chest. We recently had another video on this mysterious channel of this whole New Day, New Chapter 9, 16, 12. I'm intrigued to see, I'm really intrigued to see what this actually is now. I'll link the video in the description box below, the video that we found on this mysterious channel or something, but...
And people, the time's coming closer and closer, almost over a week away.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's all going to come down to.
I know, it's quite scary, isn't it? You don't know what it's going to be. Judging by the promo segments that we've been seeing, or the vignettes, it's going to be scary. Should we just put that aside for one video and concentrate on an edition of Smackdown this time? So we opened up this show. The main angle of the show, as we saw going through Raw, was going to be this whole lawsuit against the Sheamus Brogue Kick and everything. We opened up with Del Rio, Ricardo Rodriguez, and David Otunga in the middle of the ring, basically continuing on that angle. Del Rio talks about being on some kind of roll, and I guess, yes, he still is kind of on a roll, but he still hasn't beat Sheamus yet, has he, in this feud?
No, and this roll is only really kicking in after Del Rio's contract, he wanting to leave, his thing with Jiggy. So I think the WWE are just trying to make him seem important, but to me, it's not really working. Maybe he's doing better on mic, better in the ring, but I'm still not buying Del Rio as a true, strong main eventer who I'd love to see as champion. Maybe a year ago, but even now, he can say what he wants, but I'm just not buying into it now.
No, I do totally agree. Even though I think the Del Rio character has improved a little bit, his mic skills are still very one-dimensional, but hell. He wants the Brogue Kick to be illegal at the Match of Night of Champions because apparently he thinks it's a criminal act. Because he's that one-dimensional, you just can't really think of anything creative.
And sadly, throughout the night, we just get this continuing, trying to prove why this move is so ferocious and bad. And
then we get Booker T coming out, basically saying, should I ban the Brogue Kick? And the crowd say no. So he says he'll think about it. It's still legal. And that kind of... We'll talk more about these little segments throughout the night, but that continued the main angle throughout the night, which would have been this whole lawsuit thing. We then get Rey and Sin Cara versus Miz and Cody Rhodes. Nice to see that they're putting Miz in there, so we got some kind of direction for an IC title match. Rey versus Miz in a rematch, I imagine, for the Night of Champions Intercontinental Championship match.
Even though they could have done that on Raw when they had something going on there, but with this, I quite liked it. They're showing that Rey and Sin Cara could still be a tag team, because week after week after week, or show after show after show, you see them do something involved together. Then, like you said, there's the involvement of the other two heels that could be or are in a feud with Rey and Sin Cara. So this match was doing some justice here.
It's your typical combination of two feuds with, going into the pay-per-view. I imagine Rey and Miz will have an IC title match. Whether Sin Cara and Rhodes will have a match, don't really know. But Rey gets the pin on the Miz, and after about 7.5 minutes, pretty good match. So you'd imagine those two will be facing off at the pay-per-view now, really, you would.
And at least it weren't on Cody Rhodes. They're doing something different, so we can't complain about. Yes, at the same time, Cody Rhodes still lost, but it was the Miz who ate the pin here to make Rey Mysterio look strong going into their match. It really hasn't had that much build over the last few weeks.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes didn't eat the pin for once. I'm so happy. And with regarding the news that Sin Cara and Rey are going to be teaming up, maybe winning the tag titles and then having that match at WrestleMania that we probably would want to see, kind of similar to Eddie and Rey in at WrestleMania 21. I must admit, I'm actually really for that idea. I think it would be a good way of spotlighting Rey and Sin Cara and then building off into some kind of big match at WrestleMania, which would involve loads of people wearing masks and trying to break a world record for it.
Very true. As much as I do hate the fact when they put tag teams together, they eventually break up. I really don't like that, because the WWE tag division, it looks strong, but it's not a strong place where we think they're my favourite tag team. When Rey and Sin Cara, if they were long term, you could possibly call them your favourite tag team. But in the end, it's going to give us, hopefully, a great match at Mania. And
what you say about the tag team division is mainly down to the booking and stuff, but I see where you're coming from with this one. Daniel Bryan versus Zack Ryder. I must admit, the Daniel Bryan character, they needed to do something with Daniel Bryan other than generic wrestler, And he was over, and they have done some interesting stuff with Daniel Bryan with the whole anger management thing and the way they worked it into this match where you had Daniel Bryan have a change of heart and then he wanted to hug it out with Zack Ryder, only to just turn around and say, fuck that, I'm going to put the no lock on him, yeah.
I was hoping for something like that because we also had this, and then we had little midget Hornswoggle backstage, huggy, stamp on foot, anger thing. So there's so much going into this. So I'm glad that Daniel Bryan, instead of going through with the hug long term and leaving it as that, yes, it would make Bryan look like a face, but with him still being a heel, I'm glad that he went on and attacked
Zack
Ryder.
And he attacked Zack Ryder after the match, only for the officials to reverse the decision, and Bryan pretty much loses it, which again is... They're trying to enhance the Daniel Bryan character, and I must admit, I do find it some way entertaining, the Daniel Bryan character they've got going right now.
And as much as I complain when the referee does change the decision of matches after a match, with this particular one, the fact that it was with Daniel Bryan's anger management and everything going against him to make him more angry, I'm okay with this one compared to the previous ones we've had.
Because it fits in with the storyline and the character enhancement angle they're doing right now. Just want to mention a quick thing. The Hug It Out segment on Raw, that lost 40,000 viewers. Yes, they had a lot of people viewing it at the time, but for a second-hour main event, that's not good. And I think that kind of says to me that, you know, although maybe this was maybe suited to the casual fans a little bit more, that, you know, people do actually want to see wrestling on a wrestling show sometimes. I'm just saying.
I said this on Raw. I didn't see this working out. Yeah, you're all trying to defend it by saying it was comedy. It was the entertainment part of WWE. This really didn't do much for me. I thought it was pretty much sad. You have Kane doing this. Daniel Bryan's character changing from flip-flop everywhere. And I'm glad that these ratings proved that the segment absolutely sucked.
It may be because Daniel Bryan is in there, but I don't know. Whatever. We'll move on. We'll move on to what I felt was a highlight of this show. The Damien Sandow promo in the hour main event of the show. You know that WWE are really trying to tell you they like this guy when they're putting him in a promo segment on his own in the hour main event of Smackdown. I really enjoyed, you know, I had a big smile on my face when Damien Sandow was talking. This is the great thing about Sandow. He's got fantastic mic skills, a unique character, a presence about him. I can really get behind this character, and I know Triple H is behind it too.
And so he should, because this mic skills here, it proved that he's not just a possible good wrestler. His mic skills, the fact he brought up Einstein, how he didn't use tout on Twitter, entertaining and everything, and the fact he brought up the fact that no one should come into the ring, look me in the face and say that I'm a coward, it definitely brought up a lot of emotion. Anyone could have came out, but... yeah,
just the promo segment itself was just incredibly entertaining. Like, you've got him saying stuff like, people on social media are the real cowards, and instead of tweeting, how about reading? And, you know, I need proper time to assess my opponent so I can exploit him for his weaknesses, which is why, might I add, I haven't been pinned. Just stuff like that. The way he delivers it and his deliverance is really very entertaining, and it really works well for that old school character that he's got, which is making him really stand out right now.
And the thing I do like, but also dislike, is this next segment.
Yeah, we had Randy Orton come out, and basically they had a match with each other. You had Ziggler at ringside and on commentary. Sandow, in my opinion, is a very good example of a old school gimmick that is working in a new school era, simply because it stands out a lot more. And you could tell by the way they're booking him that he is this old school guy, the way he rolls out the ring and everything. It makes him stand out. But we get to pretty much the brute end of this match. Sandow does the whole running out the ring thing again. But I do want to mention something. I think you picked up on it as well during the match. You had Ziggler bigging up Orton on commentary. And I was kind of like, are they trying to turn this guy face?
Well, what I was going to bring up before we got to this point is that Sandow at the minute has been in the ring with the best at the minute.
The two best.
And the thing I'm saying about this is that hopefully they're not trying to push him too fast, because like we have Cody, who should be up there. We have Ziggler, who's going to be up there. We have Barrett, who's hopefully going to be up there. So there's so much wrestlers. I don't really want Sandow to be pushed too fast and him to be delayed. So all these other heels. So in a way, I'm hoping this is just to build his character up instead of too fast of a push. But the Ziggler thing, take away Ziggler from the list now if they are going to eventually turn him face to fit into this whole what we feel was happening during this match.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that they put Damien Sandow now in our main event spots against Sheamus, and they put him in our main event spots against Randy Orton now on SmackDown. It's interesting also to note that a guy like Dolph Ziggler will consistently lose clean against guys like Sheamus and Orton despite getting that win on Raw, yet Damien Sandow will lose in an unclean way. I think that does show you that WWE have probably a little bit more confidence in Sandow, despite the fact that he ate an RKO out of nowhere in the post-match segment, which I hated.
Well, with Ziggler being Mr. Money in the Bank, he could use his briefcase at any time in the match. Even Becky could actually do something, but minus that, she does absolutely nothing for him. But the RKO at the end, I guess it made Sandow looked good to begin with because he came out to attack Orton from behind, but we all know Orton weren't really going to accept that, and he's been pedigreed, he's been sweet to music, he's been RKO'd, he's had a lot done to him, so in a way it's good that he's having all this done to him, but with this Orton one, it was predictable.
I guess my issue with the whole thing is that he comes up from him from behind, and all of a sudden Orton just RKO's him out of nowhere. You know, come on WWE. But the whole segment with Ziggler attacking Orton and them going at it for a little bit, and then Orton doing the RKO so Ziggler can scram. I guess you could look at it in the sense that Sandow really isn't in a feud right now, so he should be the kind of guy that is forwarding storylines while also getting featured in a semi-decent way for especially a guy who's only been on the roster for about 6 months.
Yeah, Sandow's feud with Clay quickly died, but anyway, Sandow's doing nothing, but hope they could find something at Night Champions.
Yeah, we will move on. David Otunga was making a case throughout the night that the Brogue Kick should get banned. They had these sort of like 2 backstage segments showing the herniated discs and everything. And I just want to bring this up for a second because I heard on such websites as NoDQ.com that Vince McMahon wants to sort of have Booker T and AJ sort of like fall down the pecking order a little bit. So maybe he has an excuse to fire them and bring in a bigger name to run both shows. I mean, it kind of seems like, because they've just had AJ have a meltdown. Now Booker T's getting sued. So it kind of seems to me like that might be the plan going forward, that Vince McMahon will bring in a bigger name and just fire these 2.
Well, with AJ, I think they should do something like make her a div or just something different. With Booker T, I don't really mind, and those lawsuits weren't really heavily mentioned tonight, so in a way, maybe Booker T has more of a chance of keeping his job or AJ going out first. I don't know how they're going to do it, but yeah.
We got a good old classic #1 contenders match on Smackdown next. Primetime Players versus Epico and Primo versus the Usos as none other than the tag champs Kofi and Truth on commentary. And can't really say too much about this match really, other than Darren Young steals the victory from the Usos. This is now going to be Primetime Players' 3rd title shot, so you would think that they probably should win at Night Champions, despite the fact that they are nowhere near as good and nowhere near as entertaining and nowhere near as unique without Abraham Washington. What a great tag team that could have been until Abraham Washington just, fell off the fray, as we all know why.
Sadly true. Throughout this match, though, I was really behind the Usos. The Usos were here, they had a bit of crowd going, they were dominating throughout the match, and the Primetime Players got the cheapish win after the Usos got the move done. And the fact it's their 3rd match, I'll be really surprised if the WWE go bad against them, make them lose their 3rd chance. But so I won't be surprised if we get new tag champs at Night Champions.
So at least we got 2 matches for Night Champions, Ziggler and Orton. We've also got the tag team title match now added to the cards. That's at least 2 matches added, which we did really needed going into next week and the go-home shows. We had a Raw recap with CM Punk, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I don't know how I feel about this, but all of a sudden out of nowhere we have a Wade Barrett return. Now, is it just me? Or was I, maybe just me, I was just expecting that WWE would build up to this a bit better, maybe have some vignettes, because this segment really didn't feel like a return match for me. It just felt like an average squash match. So that's just how I felt about this segment.
Well, I can go on a small rant for this and maybe do a video, because when I saw this, first thing I thought is, you've got all these awesome video packages building up, and the thing you do, instead of returning to Raw, where the highlight is, return on Smackdown, and plus throughout the night there was no mention from Booker T saying we have a special guest, we have a big match coming, and I really thought that, and plus the fact this weren't announced like on Raw saying someone's coming on Smackdown, no one's really going to see Barrett's big return, so the WWE screwed up here. I can't see much good in this.
No, exactly, and I totally agree with you there, because the segment itself felt underwhelming. I say a couple of things. I just want to talk about Wade Barrett's packaging for 1 minute. The theme music, awful. Don't like the theme music at all, but I didn't think they did enough to really accentuate that he was a knockout guy, but the knockout punch finishing it is exactly how he should finish matches from now on, in my opinion, especially if they want to really make Barrett into that top heel with a unique gimmick, some kind of presence. He's got the mic skills, he's got the size now. He just needs to work that character now in a way which can really be pushed over the top, like Damien Sandow, for example, is doing right now.
Very true. Throughout this match, though, Barrett did work on his fists and elbows, so it really showed that maybe he is going to show up his fighting character. I like this in a way. His finish was quite... At first I just thought, then when they replayed it, it looked how dominant it was and how good it knocked him out. So I'm quite glad that Barrett came back, and then he went onto the mic and he mentioned hopefully hinting an open challenge for Night Champions, so he's actually there at a pay-per-view, because why bring him back now He's not going to be at Night of Champions. So I'm expecting more from him, but I'm just glad Barrett's back. But the way they brought him back, I just don't like WWE for.
I must admit, the way they ripped for this promo, the fact that they said he was bored by the squash matches he said if he isn't in the title picture, then it's kind of pointless him being back, and and then he's pretty much teasing he's going to be in the title picture and that he is open for business. But yeah, there you go. Really, that was a very underwhelming Barrett return in my opinion. I just expected so much more from this.
Awesome video packages to a okay return.
Yeah, exactly. Sheamus I do wonder what's next for Barrett as well. Are they going to push him into the title scene, continue having him squash matches, the open challenge? It'd be interesting to see what they do with Barrett next, if anything.
That's the cages.
We then get onto the main event. Sheamus versus David Otunga. Now the match itself doesn't really stand out as a main event, but looking at the circumstances with Otunga trying to plead the case that Sheamus's Brogue Kick finisher was a lethal finisher to get banned, it did kind of make sense. The match was very unimportant, really. During the match, you had Booker T coming out saying that he had no choice but to ban the Brogue Kick, and to be honest with you, I don't mind them banning the Brogue Kick because as a face, Sheamus has to overcome obstacles, and he is going to be, and even though he's already got a couple of secondary finishers, at least he's going to be overcoming some kind of obstacle because he can't use the Brogue Kick anymore.
Well, 2 points I want to make about this. Number one, they could have banned it in the opener because the opener was absolutely a drag without it leading to anything apart from no. I think they could have done it then to do it throughout the night. But with this, and plus, if you're going to ban so that it can break someone's neck, why keep the tombstone pile job the Undertaker has? Why ban the Brogue Kick?
It does make that. I mean, that is a good point. You could look at it and say it's kind of stupid. The Brogue Kick is banned and it's a wrestling move, but they're trying to work this into some kind of storyline. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this one.
When Taker's move was banned, I guess it worked then, but obviously the way they did that was different to this, and this is, again, it just comes down to Del Rio. I don't think it's really working. It's not really making Del Rio look any stronger than they want him to.
It's funny that they're playing on this whole, suing culture, which is very common in America. But I will say one thing. If Del Rio doesn't win the belt at Night of Champions without Sheamus using the Brogue Kick, then why even do it? You might as well just blown it off at SummerSlam.
That is true, but the way I see this is that I said this during SmackDown, a submission move, the arm lock that Del Rio has.
The Texas Cloverleaf.
Yes, and I thought that'd be I know it's a stipulation match, but the Brogue Kick won't be needed, and it's more of a fight between his finisher and this new finisher. I'll be happy with that, but this match was just not much there apart from what we've just said.
It was all about the angle, really, wasn't it? And Sheamus wins with the Texas Cloverleaf to establish this as a new sort of finishing submission maneuver, purely for this feud with Del Rio, I'm thinking. So, what were your overall thoughts on SmackDown this week then, NJ?
I wouldn't say it was boring, but like I said about the whole Brogue Kick thing, could have been done a lot earlier in the show. Barrett's return could have been more hyped up than just thrown on SmackDown like there. The match got announced for the pay-per-view, especially when Ziggler asked to face Orton. That made Ziggler look prepared for this. I felt it did its justice.
I think this was a tale of a show where there was some bad segments and some good segments. I like the way they're featuring Damien and Sandow right now, even if they are making Orton out of nowhere. The way they're featuring Ziggler is pretty good. They're making him an integral part of SmackDown right now. But you look at the other things like the main event angle, which kind of a little bit meh, in my opinion. The tag match I felt was very good. They booked 2 matches for the pay-per-view now, which they needed to do. Barrett's return, though. I don't like the way they did the way Barrett's on that. And how unimportant they made it feel. It's just, I don't know. But I'd still say it was an okay SmackDown. I'd give it a C+ this week. There are things that I like watching about SmackDown, like the tag team wrestling, the featuring of young up-and-coming stars. That's one of the reasons I like watching SmackDown over an episode like Raw, which is 3 hours, and I think 2 hours is just a lot easier to get through. So, do you want to give your thoughts on SmackDown down in the comment section below, of course, and I will now hand you over to NJ, who will no doubt give us a spiffing outro to this SmackDown review.
Thank you very much, people. Please do not read. Please tweet. And all I can say is that we have Terminator NJ coming for the go-home shows next week, so be prepared for that. We want to know what happens on that special date. Tell us your thoughts on SmackDown in the comment section below. And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, till next time, YouTubers, goodbye.